Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to take two of the Two Buck Sports Show, bright and early this morning as we are pre-recording a little bit, hanging out with my guy, Drew Gann, a.k.a. Uncle Buck, on this Wednesday. Drew, we're at the halfway point of the week, man. How's your week going so far?
Oh, it has been a pretty good week so far. Anybody that's in the North Mississippi area, my sister just started a new business where they're doing like 3D and 4D ultrasounds, and it's her own little business. It's opening up next week, but she let us come yesterday and do the little 3D, 4D sonograms of the baby, and so that was
fun.
cool. But yeah, it's been a low-key week. It is fall break here, so the family is in the house all week, which is good. You know, I've got to come home for lunch and hang out with the kids. Niece and nephews were here yesterday, and so, and then last night they all stayed somewhere else, and so it was a nice, quiet night in the Gann house. It's something you do not get very often, unless you're sick.
Nice. This was not a bad reason for it to be silent. Just some quiet time for you and Mama Buck. I'm glad y'all got that last night. I ended up playing wiffle ball last night outside at the church. We did I played in a softball league this year, and one of the guys is having his first kid, and so my buddy Ryan was like, "Hey, let's do it just like we were kids, like, you know, after the season's over, T-ball season, you go to Pizza Hut or CC's Pizza or wherever you would go." Actually, like, this is dating me. There used to be a pizza place over there on Shallow Road, kind of where, like, in that strip center next to the bowling alley on the end, because like Lonnie's used to be there, and then there was a pizza place on that far corner.
Yeah, it had
down there.
Games and stuff, like an arcade.
Yeah, but I can't remember the name of it. I remember, I have memories of going there and having T-ball parties and birthday parties there. So chat, help me out. Somebody in the comments, help me out. If you're from Corinth, you remember that pizza place on the corner? I'm dating myself.
Older than Rusty. Yeah.
That's it. Because it's a while ago, brother.
Very narrow slice of the pie that can figure out this answer.
Yeah. But we played wiffle ball last night as like a post-season party, and we brought diapers and wipes and stuff for Josh and his wife's first child, so super excited for them. Played, it was fun, had some kids join the game. It was a lot of fun. What's up?
Can I have one of those?
Sure. Play wiffle ball and bring you diapers and wipes. We got him enough to get his first week started, so it was, a couple dozen boxes of wipes and some
first-time parents of babies don't realize what's coming until you run out of the gifted diapers. And then when you run out of the gifted diapers, you start having to buy them for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's a rude awakening, brother.
Oh, I'm sure. One that I have not had nor will have for the foreseeable future. Let's put it that way.
I was going to say, don't say never.
He knocks on wood.
I thought we were going to stay at an even number.
Ominously, he knocks on wood. But, yeah, it is Wednesday, and we always start our Wednesdays off the same way with discussing important topics pertinent to your work week.
Anyway, I guess we're going to discuss this. Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show. It's Wednesday. It's real or counterfeit. I'd like to take a minute real quick. If you're here and you're in the comment section, first off, thank you. Second off, give us a thumbs up. If you're over at Twitter, come hang out with the cool kids. This is pre-recorded, but I know our guys Wayno and Jared, King Meeks, and Edward, and everybody else that hangs out with us every single day are over here in YouTube. So just jump on over to YouTube, youtube.com/Bluff City Media. Hit the live button. It's around our little profile picture. It'll be red. Just hit it. And then give us a thumbs up and get in the comment section. Hang out with all of our friends there. And so this is our real versus counterfeit segment where Rusty lobs me. There's only two of us. So lobs me a take of some sort. And I just either stamp it and agree and that it is real, or disagree, meaning counterfeit. So it was pretty simple. Did probably need the explanation, but I gave it to you anyways, free of charge.
And normally we keep these sports free, but this first one's kind of sports adjacent. This week we talked about it yesterday on the show. I said I wasn't gonna give you more airtime, but here we are. We're talking about it just because it irks me a lot. Like, is there a more attention-seeking, self-absorbed human athlete celebrity than LeBron James? Is that real or counterfeit? That there's none more attention seeking than LeBron James.
The statement is there's no one more self-absorbed, arrogant, and
attention seeking than
LeBron's
James.
There's no way to quantify this, and I think what you see with I'm gonna say counterfeit. I think what you've got that is interesting with LeBron James, because if you look at guys like Deion Sanders, I mean, I could make an argument for Deion, or you could make an argument for just about any cornerback or receiver in the NFL. What you've got is an interesting cross-section, which is just ripe for mass clicks and media attention, is the intersection of arguably the greatest player of all time. There are people that make that argument. And just the viral sensation of him and being 40 years into it. He has got his own media company. He is very good at putting out his own content. And for some reason, probably because he plays for the Lakers and he's arguably the greatest basketball player to ever live, people want to use him as a mouthpiece. He takes it to the nth degree, sure, but just as a person, he's probably not the most arrogant. I kind of like LeBron James the person, but I don't know. He like Shaq. Everybody wants a little piece of LeBron because it is advertising gold. It must be return on investment like crazy.
I'm sure, but I think where it's different, like if you've been under a rock, you missed it. FanDuel put out an incredible graphic, shout out for FanDuel, where it said LeBron is retiring, and beside retiring, in very small font, it said not, because he had a second decision announcement, and this week it was just that he is partnering with Hennessy and Cognac for his drink of the fall. And if you've ever had Hennessy Cognac, it's not that good. You're just paying for the name. It's like really syrupy tasting. Like I hadn't cared for it the couple times I've had it. Like, I don't care for it, but it's one of those things that you're paying for a name, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think we're the demographic that Hennessy's targeting either.
I'm sure, but because I'm not going to be buying Hennessy on the regular because it is really expensive. But anyway, I digress. So they used him for an announcment, and his second decision, was that Hennessy was the mouthpiece or his drink of the fall. And so, like, I think like Shaq is a kind of almost like an endearing brand because he's so big and he's so goofy and he's so out there that like you can put him on stuff. And not saying that Shaq is wholesome by any means, but it's kind of more that direction.
He's lovable.
He's lovable. LeBron has been caught lying about listening to the Migos like 4 or 5 years before they were ever like a group. He's all the time reading books, but like he's never passed the first few pages. There's no bookmark. Like it's clear he's not reading the book. You know, he's been on to these athletes before they were born. Like he's just been like proven time and time again to bend the truth, to stretch the truth, to try and make himself look better. And all it does is make him look like he's a self-absorbed buffoon. Easy for me to say as I'm sitting up here buffoonery the speech this morning. But like I just like something about him is just so off-putting to me. Like I don't know if it's if it's just like the way he conducts himself. I don't know what it is, Drew, but there's just something about LeBron that I'm just like, I don't think I'd like to have a beer with that guy.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't think that either. Listen, it's definitely, in my opinion, bad taste. I mean, the decision, the original, when he chose to go to South, not well received by virtually anybody to make the big to-do that it was and then to make the decision that you made. However, like I've got to give LeBron a lot of breathing room here because if I were LeBron and Hennessy and Cognac or Kraft mac and cheese or Diet Mountain Dew came to me and said, got this marketing idea, we're going to give you $100 million. We want to recreate the worst decision of your life. Sign me up. I mean, like, I just got to give it comes off bad, but LeBron James is probably the single most marketable person in the world.
I still think like Shaq is more marketable. I think there are guys that might be more in the world. That's a big statement.
Well, you say Shaq is more marketable because you see him in everything, and he takes a bite out of everything. And
because he's very marketable.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. If you wanna do that, then I said one of, so sure, put Shaq in that category. But LeBron James is up there. I mean, you just talk about the viral nature of the NBA. Like, I'm not going to say it doesn't leave a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I was halfway wondering if he was retiring. You know, the people of Cleveland bought up every single ticket to the Lakers game in Cleveland this year because there's only one, because they thought it may be their last time that they ever get to see LeBron James play basketball.
Listen, I've got the ticket. I've got a ticket to the only time the Lakers come to Memphis this year on Halloween night. And there was just a little flicker in my mind of, brother, I could sell those bad boys for $1,000 a piece.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean, I've got good seats. They're not like lower bowl. They're pinnacle level, mid-level. They're great seats. $1,000 a piece, I could have sold them, but if that was the true announcement. But when he does announce his retirement, there's going to be even more pomp and circumstance than that. I guarantee you. I think I give LeBron James a lot more runway than a lot of people do, just because, yes, he is also probably the most cringy athlete of all time when it comes to like his takes and like his manufactured opinions on stuff that I don't think he actually believes on anything. Mm-hmm. You know, you reference the books and the artists that he, you know, he's always got, everybody does this. Like, oh yeah, I was on them first. Like, well, none of us were, you know, like, and you could just prove it because LeBron James is famous. But but he's like, and he'll give specific timelines. Like, I was on the Migos in 2006. Yeah. It's like, brother, they were in the 8th grade.
Yeah, I know. And all that's, it's all dumb, but I give him a lot of runway because you look around professional sports and around a lot of people that we idolize and we look up to and we watch daily, and the fame that he's got, and he's never as much as had a speeding ticket that we've heard of. You know, he's married to his high school sweetheart. He's got all 3-4 of his kids. I mean, I just have a lot of respect for the guy. You know, he's probably done a really good job insulating himself, which is a reason why you don't hear about some of the shenanigans. But one way or another, you've got guys around all professional sports and pop culture who just make horrible decisions because of fame, and you've not seen that out of LeBron
I don't know. The cringiest video was he was sitting between those two blonde white ladies at that WNBA game, and he was like, first of all,
oh, I know.
I just want to wish you both
it was Jenny Buss.
International Women's Day. And they're like, oh, like fall all over. One of them was Jenny Buss.
It just goes to show you
it's just so
that if you're a
cringy,
6'8" billionaire basketball player, you can say anything and get the ladies to swoon.
It's just so cringy. Maybe that's the take. Maybe LeBron James is the cringiest celebrity. That might be the real
I would
take
absolutely 100% say that was real.
Absolutely. Well, the next one's going to take us into our first segment-ish, Drew.
I can't believe my life.
Yeah. Exactly right. Real or counterfeit. And this is, we've kind of talked about this kind of around the edges a little bit, but I do want to dive on it a little bit as the Major League Baseball playoffs are progressing. Real or counterfeit baseball, professional baseball, especially because we both still eat up and love college baseball. But professional baseball was better when we were kids. And it could be like, there's a lot of ways you could take that, but that's the statement, real or counterfeit.
I mean, there were steroids in baseball when we were kids, so real.
Brother, I saw a shirt yesterday. I almost got by Instagram. I was scrolling at a red light, and this shirt popped up, and it had Canseco, it had Sosa, McGuire, and Barry Bonds, then it said steroid era on it. And if it wouldn't have been $37, I would have bought that shirt.
Listen, Major League Baseball postseason is great. And the reason why it's great is because, one, you can watch every single game without blackouts. And two, there is such buy-in in the stands. The atmosphere is there. And it's an atmosphere.
There are a few crowd pops better than a baseball crowd pop.
Oh, I know. And did you see the Vlad Jr. crowd pop after that 3-run home run at home?
Bomb.
I mean, it was a tank.
Yeah. They had one last night in the Yankees-Blue Jays game last night when Aaron Judge hit that 3-run home run too. Yeah.
You know, all right, to recap my points. You don't have a blackouts that you're dealing with, so fans at home can watch every game. And you have buy-in from fans because, and this isn't the fans' fault or the Major League Baseball's fault, but you play 162 games, 81 games at home. Like, you just can't physically fill out a stadium like that. But when you get to postseason, you do get that electricity. And I'll be honest with you, I found myself feeling like I'm missing out on this stuff. Like I need to do a better job of keeping up with it because you've had some viral moments, like we talked about with the Judge and the Vlad Jr. home runs, the crowd pops. You've seen some really cool stuff in the postseason, which you see every single October. And I need to do a better job while, tonight is Tuesday night. Last night was tonight's Wednesday night. Last night was Tuesday night. There's no NBA on last night. I should have been watching some Major League Baseball. I should have watched Blue Jays Yankees. That was a tight game, and I didn't, and I need to.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things about baseball, and I know this is like very much old man of me, and I own that. I have more silver on top of my noggin than I used to, so I own that. Baseball, like, it's fun to watch. I love watching on TV. You see the home run. But baseball is one of those sports that's made for radio because you get those great radio personalities that call the games and, like, it gives the drama. So last night while we were playing wiffle ball, we had the radio broadcast of the games playing last night. So we were just kind of listening to it while we were playing, which was absolutely incredible. And then I love listening to Mississippi State baseball games on the radio in my truck. Like, it's just kind of something about it that just makes it just a true romantic experience. And that's the best way to put it because that's what baseball is. And I'm a baseball junkie. Like we've talked about, I love college baseball. I love baseball. Me and my buddies Ryan and Joey are talking about going to the World Baseball Classic in March in Houston when all the countries converge and they play a tournament. The pool plays in Houston, the semifinals and championships in Miami. But like you could go to these, Ryan and Joey have been in the past. You can go to these and watch like 4 or 5 baseball games in a couple of days and see some heated rivalries, including USA and Mexico. And to me, it just feels like the product that is international baseball, the product that is college baseball is better right now than professional baseball. Like they have an absolute cornered market on postseason drama and fireworks. Because like tonight, as we kind of talk a little bit of FanDuel has a same game parlay for the 4 teams to close out their series tonight. You can get plus 1480 odds if you think the Mariners, Brewers, Blue Jays, and Dodgers close their series out. The Brewers are up 2-0 on the Cubs. They've got plus 102, so there's a chance the Cubs can win today. Fingers crossed, go Cubs. The Blue Jays are plus 154 to close out their series. And then you got the Dodgers and Mariners as favorites. The Mariners up 2-1, and the Dodgers up 2-0 to close out their series. Drew, I think that like baseball drama like this though in the postseason is what makes it special. And I hate that I'm not as invested in it. And maybe that's on me. Some of that's on me, but a lot of it's on the blackouts that you talked about. Some of the shenanigans that Rob Manfred has pulled. But I just miss being heavily invested in professional baseball because it was such a huge part of my formative years and my childhood years. Because I was like as locked in as we are on the Grizzlies now. That was me and the Chicago Cubs growing up.
Here's my thoughts on it, and a lot of this, and I'm going to attribute to the failing of SportsCenter as well, because we've gotten into a viral nature, and SportsCenter has turned into Suckville. But I didn't watch Major League Baseball every night, but I knew every player because it was covered on SportsCenter. Like I watched the Cardinals and I'm, even NBA, like I'm watching the Grizzlies. I'll watch here and there of other teams, big games, primetime games. But like Wayno, who I'm sure is in the comments, and a lot of our fans are just basketball junkies to where they're going to watch every single basketball game. I've never been that guy, and I've never been that guy for baseball either. But SportsCenter, being a kid that lived on SportsCenter, that's how I consumed baseball. And it was the peak of steroid era, which was great for baseball, or great for viewers anyways. That was when you were peaking at it. Every time you were watching any sport, they were cutting in anytime Barry Bonds came up to bat, that kind of stuff. And you just don't see that anymore. It's more analytical. It's more, on base percentage instead of home runs, lots of strikeouts. The product is not as fun to watch. There's not as many highlights. You've got Cal Raleigh this year. Who did he get to 61? I think he may be just shy of 61. But it's just, it gets right in the postseason. That's the crux of it. Like it always gets right. And so I'm going to take a solemn oath to pay closer attention as it gets to the ALDS and ALCS and NLCS.
Likewise, he hit 60 during the regular season. He has 1 in the postseason, so he's at 61 on the season.
Yeah,
but
that
only
doesn't
60
count
in the
for
regular season. Exactly. It only your regular season home runs, the only one counts. Him and Kyle Schwarber had a 1998-esque kind of series where like Kyle Riley would pull ahead by 3 home runs, and then Schwarber would go have a 3 home run night to tie it up. And it just felt like, again, like
how many did Schwarber end up with?
Let me look. I have to look and see.
Because I know Aaron Judge is the first American League player to hit 61 last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I think.
Everybody wants to talk about Maris being the record. Now, it's not. It's the American League record. You can call it the American League record. I will forever appreciate and call Barry Bonds the home run champion, a single season home run champion, and behind him is Mark McGwire. Like that's the numbers you've got to beat. I don't care. I don't care they're on steroids.
I don't either. Eventually, nobody else will. It's right now these holier-than-thou writers, and that's another thing that it's off-putting about baseball is the writers just think they're gods. And there was a time back in the day that they probably were. For sure. They are. Yeah. But Kyle Schwarber finished the regular season with 56 home runs, 4 shy of Cal Riley's 60 home run effort this year. But it just felt like for the final month of the season, those dudes were just clobbering baseballs left and right like it was 1998.
60 home runs for a switch hitting catcher is
that's what's wild. Catchers for those
you don't even play every game. If you're
I know you're more of a cricket guy, but catchers don't hit home runs like that. That's reserved for left fielders, right fielders, first baseman, third baseman. Catchers don't hit like that. But you get a catcher who can rake, and it's something. You got something special.
I was trying to remember who the best power hitting catcher was from my childhood, and
Pudge, Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza, yeah, that's kind of where my mind went.
Because
Pudge really hit for power. He was a big.
There was a couple seasons where he did for Texas, especially. But you think the catchers of our childhood, Pudge was a base hitter. Jorge Posada from the Yankees was a base hitter. What was that? Was it Varitek? Jason Varitek for the Red Sox was more like a clutch.
I was trying to think.
Hitter.
There was one that was for the Mariners that wasn't Pudge. Was it Edgar Martinez wasn't a catcher?
No, he was an infielder.
I don't remember.
It'll come to you as soon as the show's over. But the point being that most of the catchers were your 6th, 7th, 8th batter because their whole job
Yadier Molina. Catchers by their defensive acumen.
Well, Yachty's arm, Wilson Contreras' arm, there are guys that are you know them for what they do behind the plate, calling an incredible game more than or stopping a fight or starting a fight if you're Jason Varitek, more so than offensive baseball. But that's going to do it for our baseball talk today in our real versus counterfeit segment. Thanks for playing along. Y'all stick around to the other side of the commercial break. We are going to talk basketball because the Grizzlies do play a game tonight against the Boston Celtics.
Did you know Jake LaRavia, our old friend Jake LaRavia, threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game? Boy, how times have changed for Jake LaRavia. He threw a pitch out at a Redbirds game once, and then didn't get any playing time, and then was just shipped off to Sacramento. Now he's playing for the Lakers and throwing out the first pitch at Chavez Ravine. Are you serious?
And he was the first call that they made.
Yes.
When free agency came about. How about that?
My goodness.
I told you that I told you Jake was going to be a player in this game.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
I've been there for every, Grizzlies coach, right? Coach Isolo, as far as like basketball acumen, man.
Oh God,
he's up there with the Hubie Brown, Mike Fratellos of the world, like as far as basketball acumen. Both of those dudes were longtime coaches, commentators, all those type of things. The stuff that a lot of these teams are running in the NBA, like the Pacers, OKC, all these type of teams, that new style of offense. The thing is, man, it's like low key they running the shit he was running in Paris. Like he's like y'all he on his Soldier Boy shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like y'all stealing my shit. That's the shit I was doing overseas. I am concerned with how. Not that I think it can't happen. I don't think it won't happen. But I just want to know how much emphasis there's going to be to make Jaren a focal part of this offense. For years, we saw Taylor Jenkins really not know what to do with Jaren Jackson Jr. Kind of not running together, or jump right together. Not really running any plays for Jaren other than Jaren ISO.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show Wednesday edition, Hump Day edition of the $2 Sports Show. We are coming to you a little early. This is pre-recorded this is currently 7:47 a.m. on Wednesday, so just about 3 and some change hours early. Work stuff got in the way. It's such a shame, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why we need to hurry up and get this thing on a payroll so that we can just talk to you fine people for a couple hours every single day, like some of our counterparts do. But speaking of the clock, Drew, before we get to the Grizzlies game, it feels like Giannis has finally put the Milwaukee Bucks on the clock, with the rumors coming out this week from Shams that the Knicks were engaged in some trade talks around Giannis. And partly because apparently there's a direct flight from Newark, New Jersey to Athens, Greece. His family has moved back home. His wife and kids have moved back to Greece, is what the rumors are, and that he is staying here almost like a bachelor type situation. This could finally be the trade deadline where we see Giannis moved. And I saw somebody put, like, a Knicks account yesterday tweeted out, yeah, but what if they asked for Brunson? And my initial response is, you trade Brunson and everything for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
What are you talking about?
If they ask for the Statue of Liberty, you uproot that thing and move it to Milwaukee.
Hey, French, you remember that big statue of a woman that's made out of copper that we sat out in the ocean? It's in Milwaukee now, right on the edge of Lake Erie.
That's it. Y'all got a raft we could borrow to move this thing? She's going to Milwaukee.
That's like Michigan, right? That's not Lake Erie, but
it's like Michigan.
Yeah, it's like Michigan. Listen, you just say, as Ed Ogeron said, you just rephrase Ed Ogeron's like, I want you to go now and I want you to go out that door.
That's it, exactly. Like, literally, you hand them the checkbook and say, write whatever it takes. Like, that's what.
As long as he stays in the East. Like, I'm so sick of superstars coming west. He's about the only one left. Brunson and Giannis are like the only two superstars. Jason Tatum, but he's hurt. Only one's left in the Eastern Conference. Like, you've got to keep some in the East. And so send him there, like, you say, good. How in the world, like, they must really love it. I can sympathize with somebody that wants to get back home. There's nowhere, as Bon Jovi once said, who says you can't go home? Yeah. But, like, the NBA season's a long season, 82 games over about 4 months. You're always given health, you're always playing deep into the playoffs. The East is wide open. If you make it to the finals, you're talking middle of June, October to the middle of June. To be away from your wife, like I don't really get that. He's going to be playing an All-Star game. There is no break for that. I think you may just need to bring your wife back or go play in Greece. Like, I couldn't do it. And that's coming as a husband and a father. I couldn't do that. And so
no, absolutely not. Like, there's nothing like coming home to your sweetie, and he's going to have a long way to go. Maybe that's why he's trying to get to New York, so he can catch that red eye overnight back to Athens. But
there is no overnight back to Athens.
No, because with back-to-backs in your schedule, like said, like,
I'm
outside of the All-Star break, which you'll participate in, you're going to be busy for 6 to 8 months of the year for sure.
Can you take a PJ to Greece? I don't know how much fuel those private jets
I
can
don't
do,
know.
or do you have to have like first class commercial to get to Greece in
That's a
one
great
fell
question
swoop?
because like I don't know because those private jets don't quite get up to cruising altitude and like that would be a long flight on a private jet. I'm sure like Taylor Swift does it all the time because she's got her own little mini jet that she buzzes around the world. I bet she'd loan it to him for him to go see his family in Giannis.
I mean, he's
in
got
Greece.
enough money. He's got enough money, but the point is like, what's the shortest trip you could take to Greece without it being stupid? Like, you've got to at least stay 4 days, I think.
Yeah,
right?
because of the time adjustments and your body clock and everything before you. And then you're going to buzz back and go play high level basketball against some elite level athletes.
Well,
like,
he's just not. He's not going during the season, not unless there's an injury.
Absolutely not. But it's going to be interesting to see what the Bucks do with Giannis at the trade deadline, especially if the Bucks are who we think they're going to be and not great. You know, I mean, if they've added some pieces, Kyle Kuzma being one of them, and like people are excited about Kyle Kuzma for whatever reason. Like he's terrible at the basketball. Miles Turner, who's kind of questionable at times. Like, he had a great regular season and decided to sit the playoffs out for the Pacers. Essentially, like, they might be regular season good, but is that going to be enough to A, get over the hump in a weak Eastern Conference, and B, did they do enough to keep Giannis in Milwaukee? Time will tell, but it's going to make for an interesting trade deadline coming up this February.
There's only one question that needs to be asked when I try to decide whether Milwaukee's good enough to make the Eastern Finals, and is Giannis playing? It's just as simple as that. The East is anybody's game this year. Yeah, there's probably better teams if Giannis is healthy and the other team is healthy, but I don't know that I mean, Giannis swings, carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we're talking about one of the 3 best players in the NBA, and on any given night, he's not number 2 or 3. Like, he can be that level of a player.
And they didn't get out of the first round against Indiana when Damian Lillard went down and Giannis had to do it by himself. But like that team ended up should have won the NBA Finals. So
it's one of those things like, can Giannis do it by himself? Yeah, but in a 7-game series, like, you need a Robin to your Batman for sure.
Right. Especially if you want to make it multiple series.
Absolutely. But speaking of basketball, the Memphis Grizzlies play basketball tonight, Drew, in what is a bounce-back game for the Grizzlies after an abysmal loss to the Detroit Pistons in the opening game. Right now on FanDuel, the Grizzlies are a 1.5 point favorite to beat the Celtics tonight at the FedEx Forum. Drew, like, after an ugly first game outside of let's put it this way. An ugly 3 quarters of the first game. He had a great first quarter. What are you looking for tonight to kind of carry some of that momentum from the first quarter to kind of wipe the slate clean after the first game?
Listen, you're not going to have Ja, you're not going to have Jaren, you're not going to have Edie. I put the bar pretty low. You say the Grizzlies are 1.5 point favorites?
1.5 point favorite on FanDuel.
You know, just consistency for 4 quarters. Like, you don't have to play as good as you played in the first quarter. That was an outlier. Nobody's going to go – you're not going to go 8 for 8 from 3 again. You blew that wide in preseason. Like, I think you've got one of those tickets you can punch for a whole season. Right. And 8 for 8 is just not going to happen again. So you just need a more concerted effort. You know, this is interesting to watch the Celtics team, too, because, you know, they traded Jrue Holiday. They traded Kristaps Porzingis. Jason Tatum's out for the season. Don't ask him, but he's probably out for the whole season. Yeah. And so this is a whole new team. I think that the Celtics are going to be a Jaylen Brown, and Derek White show. And that's good enough to be a really good team in the East. I want to see Cedric Coward be better. I want to see a better effort on defense and rebounding. I don't know how you do that. Like I said on yesterday's show, like, there's just not really any solutions for rebounding other than bringing more people to rebound. And so you're just going to have to get that rebounding percentage up a little bit.
Yeah, and no Jaylen Brown is a game-time decision tonight. ESPN projects his return to be tonight, but he's a game-time decision. Get out there, see how he feels. The Celtics kind of got a new look front court as well. No Al Horford, no Kristaps Porzingis, but they brought in Luka Garza, who is an absolute rebounding vacuum. Like, that's what he does. And so tonight could be a rough night for the home team if Luka can set up in the paint and Jock Landale can't get him, or PJ Hall can't get attention, because that's what Luka does. Luka's not a great basketball player, but he rebounds at a high level, and that's something we struggled with against the Pistons.
I kind of made a pitch for Luka Garza once I realized that he was still in the league, because he was buried in Minnesota for so long behind Towns and Naz Reid and Gobert. Like, he just wasn't ever going to play. But he's just a big body. I imagine he would fit the Jock Landale role, honestly. But you got a more experienced Luka Garza in Jock Landale. I think Jock's a better player, but Luka Garza
he's athletic.
is not.
Because if you make a pitch for, and this is kind of sat with me since you made that pitch for Luka Garza, the guy who doesn't want Zach Edey wants Luka Garza because they're the same player. So neither of those guys, per your logic, would be playoff players. So why would we want both on this team?
No, I've never said that. Again, I've always said I don't trust Zach Edey in postseason play. I think he's going to have a really good regular season, and I think he should start over Jock Landale. I think he would start over Luka Garza, but we were talking about a backup big, somebody that was just there, like a number. And we talked about, I thought he could be a Steven Adams role, like what Jock Landale is. And at the time, we did not have Jock Landale yet, and we had no options. And Luka Garza, the Celtics took a flyer on Luka Garza. That's all I was saying. It's not a Zach Edey conversation at all.
Okay. Anyway,
they
got Luka Garza who could get some rebounds tonight. But what I also want to see is, like you said, more consistency, because we started off like world beaters, and you could tell we just kind of ran out of steam. And throughout the course of the rest of the game, we just slowly kind of sunk down into basketball purgatory, where our shots weren't falling. We ran out of effort. We ran out of steam. And the Pistons ended up lapping us. And so for me as well, I want consistency tonight. I want to see Ty Jerome in that point guard role again, because that was just fun to watch him facilitating the offense, getting his shots off, getting open. I agree. I want to see more Cedric Coward. I want to see his shots actually fall 0 for 7 as a rough first night from the field. Yeah. But he's too talented. He's too good. The shot is too pure for it to not start falling. And so I think tonight could be one of those games, as Tomas is still trying to figure out what these rotations are going to look like, given the intensity and pace that we play with. I want to see more Cedric Coward. I want to see more GG. Vince actually didn't look terrible against the Pistons the other night. Maybe we get some more run with those guys to see what we have, because we need to start making some decisions about those guys as we start getting closer to February, what we need to make this team better.
Yeah, and I know that rotations everybody's going to play. It's preseason, and your big three, your top three are all injured, as well as Brandon Clark. And so you're going to be a little out of sorts anyways, but I wouldn't mind seeing some trimmed down rotations, at least in the first 3 quarters. I think you probably ramp up to that, but it's impossible to kind of actually simulate that and leave, say, Vince, Cam, and Jitty on the bench for the whole game, since you don't have Ja, Jaren, and Edey and BC. Yeah. But I would like to start seeing the formations of a rotation at some point. Again, that's hard to do. It's probably impossible to ask for. But he played 12 men in the first quarter again, and that was something you lambasted Taylor for, and I wasn't crazy about either. But he's kind of in the same situation Taylor was in which you just don't have your superstars, and so you're going to have to play some guys. And it's preseason, so I'm not going to make a big deal about it.
Preseason rotation, this is when you want to play 12, 13, 14 guys to see what you have to get in some run. But if we're still doing 12 guys in the first quarter in November, and we've got Zach Edey and Jaren, and that's the biggest thing, is just quit. If nothing else, Tomas can endear me over to his side permanently if he will just quit pulling Ja and Jaren at the 3-minute mark of the first quarter, just to put in a bunch of random dudes to play 10, 11, 12 guys in the first quarter. If you play 10, 11, 12 in the first half, that's part of basketball, especially at a high-paced offense. But when you play that before the first 12 minutes are up, I don't understand how guys can get in a rhythm that way, and that's what we saw last year.
Well, I'm going to put it to you this way, and I was critical of the players last year for not being available to play basketball. I'm not going to give the players and Tomas a bye this year if Jaren misses time in the regular season, Edey misses time. These games are important. If there's one thing Taylor Jenkins did a good job of, it was finding wins when you're missing your star players, having the depth and to get some wins, you can't get behind in the Western Conference because of injuries. It's part of the game. Everybody's going to deal with it at some point, but you're going to have to find a way to win games earlier in this year when Zach Edey's out, and that's what concerns me is with the rebounding stuff that I talked about yesterday. Is relief isn't coming. Help is not on the way yet because Zach Edey's not going to come back for at least a month of the season, I would say. And so you're going to have to figure out a way to win games. And in the preseason, a lot of people can say it's not important, but at least early on, guys are playing. Steph Curry's playing basketball. Anthony Davis is playing basketball. Teams are playing their superstars right now if they're healthy for the most part. There's exceptions.
Yeah.
And so I do believe it is a little indicative of what you can look at regular season, and you just cannot take a string of losses. You remember when John Morant was suspended for 25 games, we came on our show and we were just like, listen, the Grizzlies have to find a way to be 10-15 at the end of it. They were not able to, and then the season went sour. But you're going to have to find a way to play 500 or so basketball while Edey and when you have injuries, because if not, this Western Conference is too deep. It's too deep.
I mean, even they said the other night in the broadcast that the Pistons were one of the least injured teams last year. Yeah. They still missed a combined 160 something games with their players because of injury. And so the injuries are a part of the game. How can we not let that get us derailed and sideways? Because that's the biggest thing is we get behind the 8 ball and we dig ourselves a hole that we can't dig out of. And there's got to be ways to snap out of that. And yes, it's hard to play without your superstars, but you have compiled this team of guys around the superstars that should be able to carry the water when our superstars are down. Because there's going to be nights where Ja gets rest. There's going to be nights where Jaren gets rest. There's going to be a stretch where there's a tweaked ankle or a shoulder flare up or inflammation or whatever, where it's going to be a few games before they come back. And so can the Santi Aldamas of the world, the GGs, the Cedrics, the Jalen's, the KCPs carry this team when our superstars don't have their 100%?
It's going to have to go down the roster all the way to the end too, because if you have multiple injuries, it's one of the things that you criticized Taylor for. I kind of gave him a pass for. It's sometimes you have to play Jake LaRavia, and sometimes you have to play Jitty, and sometimes you have to play Gigi and Vince. You've got to hope that they're good and consistent and steady. And I think that's when you talk about Gigi and maybe this is a ramp year, or you talk about Vince Williams, all I'm hoping for, the baseline expectation for me is whatever you're going to be it. Be it every day. Be able to be counted on. That's what's important to me. And that goes for Santi as well. Because like you said, you are going to deal with injuries. It's just a part of the game. I believe this team is deeper. Last year, we were not as deep as we thought we were because Gigi and Vince took a nosedive for one reason or another. You need consistency at the end of the bench.
Absolutely.
It's the reason why I stumped for Jake, because at least, dang it, he wasn't consistent, but he consistently would run somebody over and try his hardest and wasn't in his head. When you get to the end of the bench, you've got to be consistent. And I think you've got that. You know what you're getting out of Jitty if you have to go to Jitty. Hopefully, I think I'm high on Cam Spencer. You're going to get tough, hard-nosed son of a gun who may be undersized, but he's going to shoot the lights out of the ball and he's going to bark at you while you're doing it.
Right.
And I'm hoping that Gigi and Vince have elevated their floor.
Yeah, and like Zach Clement said last year, we need dogs on this team, and we need these guys to step up and be dogs. And so tonight, their anticipation is that Ty Jerome and Santi Aldama will be the leading scorers for the Grizzlies, as FanDuel has them at plus 148 for Ty Jerome, plus 265 to go above 15 points tonight. It's minus odds at 10 plus, so they feel like they'll both get into double figures to be the Grizzlies leading scorers. And I thought it was interesting to make 3 plus 3-pointers is where the odds change from negative to positive. You've got Jalen Wells at plus 220 to hit three or more. He only hit 2 the other night. And Ty Jerome was plus 265, and he hit 3 on the money. So if you want to make a little money tonight on FanDuel, maybe put a little money on Ty Jerome to go over 3 plus 3s. You can win you a few doll hairs on the Memphis Grizzlies preseason game tonight. But, Drew, we do have a little bit of football. We're up against a time crunch with your work. We got just one, maybe 2 things to talk about real quick in football.
What you got?
Well, normally you're the one that leads us back in from a bumper video or a break. So
I
know,
but I was in the sake of time. I thought you were just going to hit me with them, and so
two things real quick. Tonight is the final night without football for the next 49 consecutive days. Tonight starts 49 consecutive days of football. As there will be college or NFL games played every day from today until November 26th. And my favorite thing, the first comment on Brett McMurphy's tweet about it, somebody said, my wife said Jesus Christ only had to spend 40 days in the wilderness. So why does she have to spend 49 days in a football wilderness? Which I think is great. But Drew, the one thing we wanted to touch on was the transfer portal. It was made official that we're going to have a 15-day period, no longer having a spring transfer portal. If you're going to transfer, you've got one shot. It's in January. And I think we're both big fans of that change.
Yeah, no doubt. I've always said that the transfer portal was worse for college football than the NIL, but the marriage of the two is kind of what has ramped it up. You know, I think you should be able to only transfer one time without penalty. Still, I think you should bring back that rule. However, I do really like the one transfer window. You know, you had after the season didn't go the way you want to go, your coach leaves, whatever, like you're just not happy. Then after the season's over, you get in the portal. Great. Good for you. What I didn't like was going through spring practice and you didn't get the number of reps you wanted in spring, and then you're leaving again between the spring and fall. Like it was too much. It was too chaotic. And so I'm glad that they simplified this. You've got to be able to instill and everybody's going to have to figure out how to fight for their spot. Like I don't like the fact that this isn't going your way. Well, it's the coach's fault. I'm going to go somewhere else. Like at some point you're going to have to teach grown man lessons, and the grown man lessons that you have to learn are never, good job lessons. It's like you're not good enough. Right. Help us make you better. Yeah. And so I'm a big fan. The only thing that's weird, there's no timing that really works in the winter, but it's January the 4th through the 19th or something like that? Or?
They took it from December to January 2nd through the 16th. So I like that because it's after the bowl games have been played, but it's during the playoffs. It's the playoffs. Where the kids, very low likelihood that somebody from one of the playoff teams that is getting reps is going to transfer at that time. They might, maybe some of the lower guys will. But this gets you through the bowl season. You're still going to have guys sitting out, not playing bowl games because they don't want to get hurt. They're about to transfer. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But I like that the portal doesn't actually start until after the bowl season. Again, playoffs are still going on. That's a different animal. But it's January 2nd through the 16th is the new window, and it starts in 2026. So it starts this upcoming season.
Yeah, but see, that's as a fan of a team that I really hope and Vegas projects as a playoff team, and also my team relies heavily on incoming transfers. It does put Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin in the way that their kind of business model at risk a little bit, because if you're in the playoff and heaven forbid you win one, you're playing throughout the whole transfer portal window, and a lot of your stuff is unknown. Yes, you are going to have players on your team that aren't playing enter into the transfer portal while you're in the playoffs, and they can still remain with the team and still have their name in the portal. But you can't go shopping, or you hope to not have to split your attentions between playoff games and who's going to be on this team next year, because you can't fall off. You will. Coaches get fired for fall-offs, and when you put so much of your business model in incoming guys, it does hurt if you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but on X, attorney Tom Mars wrote last week that experienced antitrust lawyers will be at the courthouse before the sun comes up to contest this new 15-day window because they feel it's too restrictive. And just for some numbers to it, during last school year, more than 4,900 FBS and 3,200 FCS players entered the transfer portal in another record-setting year for transfer movement, as that is something that has not been around in our football fandom for sure.
Yeah, well, and at some point the NCAA is going to have to win a court case, because Tom Mars is the lawyer champion for players' rights, and like he talked about the antitrust stuff. You don't want to restrict a player's ability to earn.
Right.
People can change jobs as many as they want to. Why can't athletes? I get all that, but at some point, what's good for football is not always what's good for. It's not always, fall within the antitrust restrictions. I don't know how you do it, but at some point you've got to buck up. But again, Supreme Courts are making these calls, and so I don't know how you do it, but you've got to break away.
I love seeing the NCAA get what's coming to them because they're a bunch of bums. So anyway, that's going to do it for your Wednesday edition of the $2 Sports Show. Thank y'all for hanging with us on this pre-recorded episode. We'll be back live tomorrow, Thursday, for our greased polls and recapping the Memphis Grizzlies Boston Celtics preseason game tonight. In the meantime, go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. I will be off the rest of the week going camping with my family for I told you this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hope going camping with my family for fall break. So I'm going to enjoy it. I'll have you my grease poll for tomorrow. I hope everybody has a good and safe, happy weekend. I will be back Monday. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Rusty, keep it down.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.